Well, no one insults Donald Trump's voters more viciously than Donald Trump. No one makes it harder for committed Trump voters to believe in Donald Trump than Donald Trump. The rest of us knew Donald Trump was lying on Monday when he urged oil tankers and other vessels to take the chance of going through the Strait of Hormuz because Donald Trump said, there's nothing to be afraid of. Those were his exact words. There's nothing to be afraid of. So how does it feel tonight? If you're a Trump voter who believed that lie from Donald Trump Monday night and you watch the ships engulfed in flames in the Strait of Hormuz where Donald Trump said, there's nothing to be afraid of. Viewers of this program knew on Monday night there was something to be afraid of. They knew that that would happen in the Strait of Hormuz if ships tried to go through there. The insurers knew that. The shipping companies knew that. Donald Trump could never get away with that kind of lie to a single viewer of this program, and he knows it. He was only trying to lie to his own voters because he knows they are the only people who can ever believe him anywhere in the world. And as Donald Trump's troubles deepen, whether it's about the Epstein files or the war he has started in Iran, his lies just become harder and harder to believe, and all the more insulting to his own voters, who are left with the impossible mental feat of trying to believe their dear leader. And in the middle of that struggle to believe Donald Trump, they have been repeatedly and savagely insulted and treated like education-resistant 10-year-old boys by Donald Trump. Donald Trump is pumping out videos not smart enough to be called childish, that are aimed at his voters to inspire their support of his war. Those videos tell you exactly what Donald Trump thinks of his voters. If I created these videos and suggested that this is the way Donald Trump's voters see war, I would understandably be accused of insulting Donald Trump's voters. Millions of them would come after me on social media. The Trump propaganda TV channels would relentlessly attack me for days, for weeks, for insulting and demeaning Donald Trump's viewers by claiming that they would be impressed and inspired by this as a depiction of Donald Trump's war. NFL players have objected to Donald Trump's idiotic depiction of war as a game. During the Vietnam War, there was some thoughtful comment about how football, a game of violent territorial gain, might serve and promote acceptance of the American government engaging in attempts at violent and territorial gain in Vietnam. But that comment was mostly dismissed as leftist fantasy. But here is a right-wing Republican government very specifically claiming that war is football, or football is war, or if you love football, you should love war. Think of how stupid you have to be to watch that video and think it's cool. You have to be stupid enough to work in the Trump White House to think that. You have to be Donald Trump to think that. Donald Trump firmly believed that his voters are that stupid. He believed that, and so he said, let's do this video. And he keeps coming up with these videos. He keeps them coming. Donald Trump's White House put out a video early in his war filled with imagery created in Hollywood by opponents of Donald Trump who object to being used in Donald Trump's war propaganda videos. And those images include the glorification of TV's most famous fictional drug dealer. Vince Gilligan, the brilliant creator of Breaking Bad, never intended to glorify the high school teacher turned meth dealer, played brilliantly by the Emmy-winning actor Bryan Cranston. But Donald Trump wants you to admire that character and think of him that way. Donald Trump wants you to think that he is as cool as and as scary as a meth dealer in waging his war.
You can't conceive of what I'm capable of!
Finishing this fight.
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm back.
I'm here to fight for truth and justice in the American way.
I am the danger.
Time to find out. Maximum effort.
Here it comes. Now hit this!
Flawless victory.
Only the sickest minds could possibly come up with that. Imagine how stupid you have to be to depict your war that way. Imagine how stupid you have to be to work in the White House that is producing that video and dishonoring real military service in the process while Donald Trump's war continues. The parents and friends and loved ones of the American military on duty in the Middle East tonight want to think that the commander-in-chief is a serious person whose every waking moment is devoted to the safety of the American military that he put in harm's way. In past wars, parents and loved ones of members of the military hung on every word that the commander-in-chief spoke in the hope of being able to cling to the confidence that the soldiers they loved would be coming home safely. And now, tonight, those families are given the stupidest propaganda videos in the history of propaganda anywhere in the world. And today, Donald Trump released a video designed to appeal to children who will not have the right to vote until he is long dead. And when you think you have seen the depths of Donald Trump's depravity, he comes up with something like this that insults every single Trump voter out there who is trying to support Donald Trump's vision of his war. Imagine if the Democratic Party put that video out today and said, this is the way Trump voters see the Trump war. Imagine if the Democratic Party said, this is the way Donald Trump sees his war. Imagine the outrage. There would be weeks of outrage on the Fox propaganda channel. If any Democrat ever insulted every Trump voter by saying Trump voters see the Trump war the way preschoolers might see it. New York Times television critic James Poniewozik writes, the meme videos suggest that war is a movie and that movies are war, and so are sports and games, that American culture's whole run of fireballs, smackdowns, and shoot-'em-ups is of one piece with the administration's militainment aesthetic. It used to be only strident detractors of pop culture who argued that macho entertainments were priming their audiences for war. Now that's simply the implicit position of the White House. The criticism that Donald Trump and the incompetents working for him in the White House have encountered since putting out these videos has only encouraged them to put out more of them, because that's the way their perversity works. They must be surprised that their propaganda videos, the stupidest ones in history, have not won them support for their war. No American war has ever faced as much opposition in this country as Donald Trump's war has faced in the first weeks of this war. And wars do not get more popular in America as they continue. And once again, Donald Trump said something that no other president has ever said about war. Quote, anytime I want it to end, it will end. That apparently means it will end when gasoline prices have gone too high for too long, or the stock market has gone too low for too long. But it will not end on the terms Donald Trump originally demanded, unconditional surrender. Today, the new 56-year-old Ayatollah Khomeini issued a written statement saying, every member of the nation who is martyred by the enemy constitutes a separate case in the file of revenge. Since Donald Trump said there was nothing to be afraid of in the Strait of Hormuz, The New York Times reports at least 16 oil tankers, cargo, and other commercial ships have been attacked in the Persian Gulf since the U.S.-Israeli war against Iran began nearly 2 weeks ago. Iran has claimed responsibility for several of the attacks. Donald Trump continues to prove to the world that he will tell any lie as he continues to insult the intelligence of his supporters with statements like this.
The Straits are in great shape. We've knocked out all of their boats. They have some missiles, but not very many. I think we're in very good shape.
The International Energy Agency said the war in the Middle East is creating the largest supply disruption in the history of the global oil market. That's Donald Trump's definition of great shape. Imagine being a Trump voter tonight and watching him say that and knowing that he's saying that in the belief that you, the Trump voter, will be stupid enough to believe him.